Hey everybody, it's Mark Pattison, and I want to talk to you guys today about how do you achieve greatness, right? I mean, ultimately, at the end of the day, it's not a finite thing, and it's always a work in progress, and it takes a long time to try to achieve, but it's a goal, and it's the top of the pyramid, and it's something that I've tried to apply to my life, throughout. And if anybody's been following me, I played in the NFL. I played major college football, obviously, to make to the NFL. I then went on. I've started a couple of venture-backed companies. One was sold. I've launched this recently, Finding Your Summit book, How to Build Resilience and Faith to Rise Above Life's Challenges. I've won an Emmy Award. It was insane. I've climbed the seven summits. I became the first NFL guy to do that, which includes Mount Everest and all these other mountains. I've also done the Eiger and the Matterhorn and mountains like this. And greatness is just really a sense of accomplishment, but it's also a sense of attitude. Like how are you going to attack life? And really in life, there's five dispositions that you can have, right? To achieve greatness or to achieve whatever you want to achieve. Really, I mean, that's the whole point of this whole conversation right now, right? Number one is you can choose to be bad, right? It's your choice. It's your choice. You can choose to be bad. You can choose to be average. You can choose to be good. You can choose to be great, or you can choose to be phenomenal. Okay? Now, with each one of these things, you have to level up to achieve what you're going after. Okay? You can't just wake up out of bed and say, I'm going to be phenomenal, and it just magically happens. It takes a lot of work. I've been at this now for a long time, and being at this for a long time means a life of discipline. And a life of discipline is very, very difficult. It's very difficult because you have to do things that sometimes you don't want to do. Eating food, going to bed early, getting up, saying no to certain things, right? Your alcohol intake, all these different things, they all matter in terms of what you have to do. And you have to chip away at these things. You have to go at it day by day by day by day. Every single morning, I wake up at the exact same time. It doesn't matter if I'm in Europe climbing mountains. It doesn't matter if I'm here in Sun Valley, Idaho. It doesn't matter if I'm in a different time zone like New York or Seattle. I go to quite a bit. Uh, in each one of these situations, each one, I always hold true to what I need to do every single morning at the exact same time. I don't adjust. I do adjust to that time zone, but I continue to get up at that same time within that time zone, even if I'm tired or not. It doesn't matter because I know that it all matters and it catches up at the end of the day. Like I said, you have to level up your effort in order to achieve what disposition that you want to take. Again, I'm going to repeat them. It's bad, it's average, it's good, it's great, or it's phenomenal, right? And I'm telling you, I, in particular, am not special. I've done a lot of amazing things. That's true. But there's a lot of people who are way more talented than me that have not accomplished half the amount of things because they don't have the drive, the ambition, and they're not willing to level up. Remember, willing and want are two different things. Everybody wants to become a millionaire. Everybody wants to be the star of the show. But are you willing to do what it takes to get there? And there's not that many people that are willing to do that. I think another thing that I noted down here too is when these things ultimately happen, and just because you do all the things doesn't mean that you're necessarily going to get the first place prize or be the star on the show or some of the other things that would actually get you to elevate. But preparation meets opportunity. We've all heard this, but it's really true. Way back when I first got to the University of Washington, I was a star and all that in high school, and it came very easy for me. I never worked a day in my life, and this whole, world of discipline for me didn't really kick in until college, until my head football coach, Don James, really was starting to teach me what that meant. Okay, so the first couple of years, I was just undersized. I could not compete. I didn't have the body. I didn't have the structure where I could take on these guys from UCLA, USC, Stanford, Cal, these other teams that we played. Back then it was the Pac-10. And then we go outside, we played Michigan and Oklahoma and teams like that, right? And part of that was just like you got to be physically enough prepared. And when you start to physically prepare, it automatically ramps up the confidence that you have because now you're starting to see some results where you can compete against the other person and go after it. So this is obviously my situation back when I was playing ball. Now, not everybody is playing football. It could be something completely different. It could be you're preparing to run a marathon, or you're a different sport, or something within your job, right? It doesn't all have to be tied to athletics. But in this particular case, I was at the University of Washington. I was getting my ass kicked. And when you start talking about when you come from being a star to being nothing, and it took me roughly 3 years to work my way back up and get myself back into position. Again, preparation meets opportunity, where I was in a position that I could actually compete and then win and then dominate. And that took a long time. So now we're playing Michigan. They're ranked number one. They come to Husky Stadium in Seattle, and it was my first opportunity to start a game. And we're down by 14 points going into the fourth quarter, and we come back and we score. Then they get the ball. They drive all the way down the field. They line up for a field goal from about 30 yards out, and the guy pushes it right, so it's no good. So now we're still down by 7 points, but now we have the ball with 7 minutes to go. And we've had a superstar quarterback, Steve Pillar, and a fantastic wide receiver on the other side, Danny Green, and myself. And we're going down the field and we're completing balls one after the other after the other. We're doing the clock management absolutely perfect because we practice it 1,000 times. So now we're down with about 8 seconds to go, and our quarterback goes up to the line and he calls an audible, which is basically for both receivers. If the cornerbacks come and they press you, which means they're right up on you and bump and run, then you just convert to a fade, and then we're going to throw it towards the end zone. And if they're off, then we're just going to do like a 5 yard little quick hitch, and the quarterback was going to throw it out there. Anyways, they rolled up, and our quarterback recognized it. He takes a couple of steps back, throws it over the top. I jump over the top. I catch the ball, touchdown. We end up winning the game. I'm on and in Sports Illustrated. Just an amazing situation. But I had actually done that play 10,000 times. I'd done it in my mind and I had done it in practice where I was pretending, going way back when I was a little kid, that I was the guy that was out there wanting to catch the winning touchdown in a scenario just like that. But again, preparation meets opportunity where I had to build my body. I had to do 1,000 reps, 1,000 repetitions. And I did all that even though there was no certainty that I would ever play at the University of Washington. And then as the circumstance played out with that particular game, highly ranked team, they were number one coming into our stadium, national television, and now it gets right down to the wire. Preparation meets opportunity. I end up winning or catching the ball. We win the game, and it was amazing. It was absolutely amazing. But that again is will go way, 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 way back when I was like 19 years old, and somebody actually taught me this system. I'm telling you the secrets to success on that. If you want to elevate your life forward, you only got one chance, right? We all have just one chance through this. That you got to take whatever you're doing and you got to level up. You got to, if you want to be phenomenal or great or whatever you want to be, man, you got to take that effort and you got to make sure that it is applicable for what level that you want to be in life. Um, the thing that I've had a lot is when I have to rely on other team members, and I'll give you a couple examples, and where my frustration like boils over because people weren't prepared. So part of this whole opportunity preparation means opportunity is also putting in the work so you don't frustrate others because a lot of times that your effort has a direct effect within your workplace, within the people that you interact with, that it trickles down in terms of how they can perform as well. So I can't tell you how many mountains that I have been on these big mountains I'm talking about. I'm talking about Vincent down in Antarctica. I'm talking about Denali up in Alaska. I'm talking about Aconcagua down in Argentina, mountains like that. And in most cases, you're always tied to a four-man rope team, okay? And it's usually like 50 feet apart. And so that if some guy falls in a crevasse, you've got the other people on the anchor that they can bury in, take your ice axe, and you can rescue the person who's tied into the rope going up. And in many of these cases, there would always be one or two that didn't do the work. They didn't show up. And so you can only go as fast as your weakest link. And if that was not the most frustrating thing for me to do in the world, then, I don't know. It's just like, again, you're putting all that effort, you're putting a bunch of money down, you're going to an exotic location, and now you land. And now the worst thing that some of these people did is not prepare. They did not work out, they did not hike, and so they just can't go up and down the mountain. Okay. And so now I'm sitting there frustrated and pissed off because I want to achieve that phenomenal. It's not just about the goal, but it's about how I go up the mountain, right? At a certain pace, what I've been training, what I want to do. But I was always tied in anger to these people who didn't show up. And for me, it was just frustrating because they're trying to bring me down to their level. There's two really dispositions that are out there, right? There's when you're talking about I'm talking about, personalities, right? There's type A, people who are driven. I'm type A, sorry, but I am. And, people want a goal achieved, and then there's type B. And that is just a much more laid back personality that aren't goal set to goal driven, and they don't have the motivation just to get up and get after it and be the best version of themselves. And that's okay. But where it becomes a conflict is when the type A, like me, is pulling or pushing, and then you have type Bs, more laid back, that are pulling back. So you have, people going in this direction, and it just doesn't work. It doesn't work in the workplace, and you got to make sure that you are super aligned on who you're trying to work with to accomplish whatever goal you want to be. Everybody wants to be number one. Everybody wants to be there, but again, willing to what? Are you willing to do the things it's going to take to get you to that elevated level? I want to talk about mindset because I think mindset is absolutely connected with this whole thing around greatness. Like, how great can somebody be? Now, everybody's got a different level. Okay. My level in the NFL was never going to be an NFL All-Pro or Michael Jordan, right? That type of an example. But you can certainly be the best and reach your potential, which is you're born with all this talent. Like, how far can you maximize what you're got given, to take it as far as you can go, right? And trying to do all the right things versus doing the wrong things. And mindset is a big part of that. Now, mindset, it's easy to have an easy mindset when it's sunny and everything's going great and there's no adversity. But it's really when you hit that adversity, and again, going back to this book, you can find it on Amazon, a little plug here, but Finding Your Summit, but how to build resilience and faith to rise above life's challenges. Despite I've accomplished all these different things, I've had more um, setbacks than wins for sure. And it's really in all those failings that I've had that have been out there that have really helped define me and what I've been able to do. Because each one of these different cases, I learn from it. I learn from my mistakes. I ask myself, what can I do different? What can I do better? I spend a lot of time researching. I try to minimize the impact and what that's going to be. And that's how you elevate yourself. And that's how you get yourself to a whole nother level, is building that resilience. And for me, the way I do that, I think you need to build your body, which will build your mind, which will build your soul. I don't think it goes the other way around. For example, building your body. Again, I get up every day. I do something very physical. I typically average about 3 hours a day working out, half in the morning and half in the afternoon. And I get up and I get out of my chair after I've been grinding all day long. And it just, if nothing else, it just helps give me a sense of accomplishment. And it also, I get creative because I'm out there thinking, I'm in nature. And it's just a wonderful thing to do and to stretch your back and everything else, especially as you age in life. And I think it's a super important thing. And that's number one, how you start to build your mindset. So now you're getting stronger, and that can then build and roll over to your mind, your mind. So now your body, you're building up a strong body so you can take things on. And when things, like all things are going to happen to us, people pass away. This last week, there was 10 climbers that died on Broad Peak in Pakistan. I knew one of them. And it's just strong, but your things happen, and you got to be able to absorb those things when they take you on and not fade away. And if you have a strong body, then that can start to help to build towards a strong mind, and then that's going to help you with soul of coming to peace with a lot of things that happen that are out there. So So again, the overwhelming theme here is all about how do you achieve greatness. Now I'm going to give you a model, and I put it in this book too. And you can also, if you want, you can go on my website, www.markpattisonnfl.com. If you push this little button right there, somewhere down there, it will take you to that website, and there'll be a box that pops up. And it's called What's Your Everest? Okay. And essentially, what's in that What's Your Everest is how you accomplish things and how do you get that mindset and how you build up that endurance. And and so I came up with a model called Summits, SUMMITS. It's an acronym, right? So when you want to start to go out there and do something and you have an idea, the S is your seed. The U then is you have to unleash it. A lot of people come up with these great ideas and they just never get to the point of actually unleashing what they need to unleash to really propel yourself forward. They sit around and think, should I, shouldn't I, should I, shouldn't I? And they, at the end of the day, they just don't go forward in any of this kind of stuff. The M is now you got to move it, right? You unleash it, but you really got to move it. You got to put it into gear. You can unleash something. You can apply for an LLC, so that's unleashing. But if you don't actually start doing the work within that LLC to go and move your project forward, then it's not going to go anywhere. The next thing is you got to measure it. So, might be your website, measuring, Google Analytics. There's all kinds of different tools that are out there. If you're working out, you can have, these watches like Whoop and all these other ones that are out there. You can measure how much progress that you're making per day, per week, per month, per year. And that's super healthy. As you're going through that chain, then you got to improve it, right? So SUMMI, you got to improve. So you can't just stay static. I see people all the time that are on, excuse me, that are on the Stairmaster, the ellipticals, right? And they just put it on number 8 and they just go like this and like that, but they're never challenging themselves. They're never trying to, throttle it up, take it back, throttle it up, take it back. They're not improving what they're trying to improve on whatever you're trying to do. If I have my like Google Analytics on my website, I'm asking myself, what can I do to get a bigger, better Google domain score and how I can be more visible within the whole web universe. And so I need to improve, and it's not working. And you got to change it. You got to fix something. Now, invariably, something always happens within this, and that's where I call it. You got to traverse. That's your T. Stuff happens, adversity. You got to deal with it. And again, going back to what I was saying before, where you're out there, a strong body, strong mind, and strong soul, that can help you weather this storm. But you don't have to stop. You can just go around it. You take a detour and you figure out how can I still save that same goal, but maybe in a slightly different direction. And ultimately, over time, like the 7 summits took me 10 years to climb. Okay. It was not easy. But ultimately, you hit the summit, and that's the S. You've hit the summit and you've completed the summits. And again, I'm giving this away to you for free on my website, www.markpattisonnfl.com. Hit the button down there. It will take you to wait for the box to open up. Just put in your email, and that's all you got to do. So, at the end of the day, hopefully there's been some tips in here on how you can achieve greatness. I've done it from the ground up, and if I can do it, then you can do it. So that is it, and I hope everybody has a wonderful day. Bye.